What's up, y'all? This is Jonathan Lippy, Beyond the Harmony, beyondtheharmony.com. And today we are doing not so much an album review, but an album retrospective. And the album that we're talking about today is Bizzy Bone's Speaking in Tongues. This album came out when I was working the night shift, because between October 2003 and October 2005, I missed everything, not just Bone Thugs-n-Harmony, but just life in general. I was working 17-hour days, so I missed out on so much. Speaking in Tongues was one of those things I missed out on, so much so that when I was interviewing Bizzy, I wasn't even sure if this was an album or a mixtape. Listen to the dumb thing I asked him. Was Speaking in Tongues, was that an actual album release, or was that...
No, I forgot. That was a good record, too.
I love the title, Bald-Headed Horseman.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, Speaking in Tongues was a record where I had an accumulation of songs that needed to come out, and I could do a few more songs, and we needed to get some material out there. We just needed to put something out. We just needed to put something out. It was the era where mixtapes were coming out quick, fast, in a hurry. So we had to just keep up. Keep up with the industry so it didn't pass us by. And I already had some phenomenal songs on there. I wish I could have took a little more time out with it. I think that was one of those same situations to where the people that I had backing it wasn't ready to go full-fledged forward with it. Like they really weren't ready to put their money where their mouth was. They didn't want to take any chances. They wanted to put all the chance on the art. Well, it didn't do this, it didn't do that. Take work. It takes work in order to make any product sell.
And Bizzy's endorsement at that moment when he said that to me, I was just like, man, I got to check this album out. For whatever reason, he was so confident about this album and made me like it without even really hearing it. I think I had skipped through it once and I was just like, whatever. Because everything after Alpha and Omega, for me, it just wasn't the same Bizzy, and I wasn't ready to accept the new style of Bizzy. But also, I want to say this, you see Bizzy there in that video. He was so cool. I think I got to experience the best version of Bizzy Bone. I think 2017 Bizzy Bone was the coolest Bizzy of them all. But I don't even think I'm making this video because of Bizzy. I'm making this video because Andre the Giant, who was an early fan of Beyond the Harmony, I haven't seen him comment in like 4 seasons, but he was one of the commenters in the first season. He left his number. He said, hey man, why don't you guys call me one day? And I called him and I had this like 2-hour convo with him. And right out the gate, we were just talking Bone, and it might've lasted 3 hours. And he gave me such a perception and perspective on the Bizzy albums. In fact, he pointed out, he's like, hey man, on the show, it sounds like you're not into like the Ballhead Bizzy era and all those albums that came out during that time. And I pointed out to him that I wasn't even big on Alpha and Omega or Beginning and the End. I was okay with them, but they weren't like Heaven's Movie and The Gift. And even those, honestly, I was excited to get Heaven's Movie. And then when I got it, it wasn't what I expected, but it still was passable and good. The Gift, at first I was like, but then it became like a just press play album. And in ways, The Gift was probably even better than Heaven's Movie. I'll say this though, Alpha and Omega has grown on me a lot to the point where I like the album. It's actually really good. And I learned how to like it through interactions with Bone fans, with making that Alpha and Omega video I made a while back, and everyone was, appropriately putting me in check with their feedback. And I'm happy I received it, because once I experienced it through other people's lenses and then went back and listened to it, I was like, wow, yeah, man, what the heck was I thinking? This album is pretty amazing. With Bizzy endorsing it, his own album, which you'd hope he would, but it was cool to hear him say, yeah, that was a good album. And then Andre the Giant giving me a full lecture on how great that time period is, which also, it was neat to hear him say that, because, at the time, Bizzy fans, but Bone fans were just kind of like, yeah, we kind of just, for Bizzy, it's after Alpha and Omega, we skip everything until A Song for You. Hearing Andre give a different dissertation, I just want to repeat what I recall of the conversation to everybody else, just in case you guys are still like avoiding those albums. There's people out there that really like it. And then there's also people that despise that whole period, including this album. And so what I want to do here is revisit the album. We're not going to listen to the whole thing, just little tiny snippets just to remember what these songs were and evaluate where does Speaking in Tongues rank. Because most of the time when you look at people talking about Bizzy, like what are the best Bizzy albums, They'll say Heaven's Movie, The Gift, Alpha and Omega, Beginning and the End. They skip them all. They go to A Song for You. Some say Crossroads 2010. And then there'll be the Carbon Monoxides and the Mantra people. But just going back to that Andre the Giant phone call. But man, the way he was selling it on the phone, and he was for real about it. He's like, yo, Bizzy's so lyrical during this time period. The stuff he's talking about during that time period, it was never duplicated or matched. He's like, that period of time is a special period of time for lyricists. If you're into lyricism rap, he's like, he was at the top of his game. It was so preposterous, but he said it so convincingly. And then he pointed out that his favorite rapper was Cannabis. He's like, Cannabis and Bizzy are neck and neck. And that let me know Andre's taste. You know, he's truly in it for the lyricism. That's real hip hop. If you're still following Cannabis at the time, I think the year was 2019, that's dedication. And he even let me know, I didn't know that Cannabis has a song called like 1,000 bars and 2,000 bars. I found that to be impressive. And so I finally understood, like when he mentioned Cannabis, I then understood what he was saying about Bizzy. What Andre experienced versus what I experienced, I wish I could experience it through his ears. But I'm okay with hearing it through mine. This is becoming a pretty long preamble, but I really want to set the stage, the mentality. One, just remember, I was out the game for 2 years, not because I didn't want to be here, but I was just in a warehouse in a night shift, grinding 17-hour days. I didn't get to do anything fun. That's one. So I'm getting to revisit it kind of for the first time, really. So it's not even a revisit. It's almost like an experiencing it for the first time. Secondly, I think I don't really ever see people talking about Speaking in Tongues album that much, if at all. Rarely ever. And finally, I think people misunderstand. When I say the bald-headed Bizzy era, I'm not trying to insult Bizzy. I'm not making fun of him. I missed that part of his life. Okay, I wasn't available to experience whatever he was going through. He doesn't really talk about it. And when I do see people ask him to talk about it, I almost wonder if they're asking in good faith. I'm curious, like I'm genuinely curious. So when you see that I've narrated some articles about Speaking in Tongues that came out during that time, it's not me trying to insult him. It's me trying to discover what I missed. It's kind of like, like a guy that misses out on his son's life or a couple years of his life. You want to find out what happened. What's going on? I bought his book, A Busy Mind, Inside a Busy Mind, and there's only like 2 or 3 pages dedicated to the time frame. So, I kind of get it. It's something that he's actually not proud of or doesn't want to speak on. And why that's interesting to me is I find Bizzy to be a true, real artist. Okay, and the line about an artist is that an artist can't lie to you because they tell you everything about them through their art. And so, yeah, hey, but if it's private for him, I respect that. I'm just saying as a fan, I'm letting you guys know I'm not trying to diss it. And if I ever say bald-headed Bizzy, it's not me knocking the dude for going through whatever he was going through. It's just, that's the time period. That's how I see it. It's the time that I missed. I feel like a bad Bone fan because I missed that time period. I remember driving to the warehouse still playing Thug World Order album in between 03 and 05 because I didn't have time to even, anytime I was home, I was sleeping. And I do remember, though, on the weekend, I saw the Hip Hop Baby music video, and I was like, bro, what happened to dude's head? He shaved his head? What's going on? But to keep up on forums, there was just no time for that, for me to find out. And it sounds like even talking about it, it must have been addressed at the time of like, we just don't talk about this. But I missed those rules. I missed those. Like, dude, I was literally in a warehouse for 2 straight years. The only time I was out of it, I was sleeping. So for the hardcore Bizzy fans, I know you guys probably have this in rotation all the time. This is for the rest of the Bone fans that might have seen this title and thought, oh, snap, Beyond the Harmony wants to talk about Speaking in Tongues? I haven't heard that since it came out. That's what we're here for. So we're just going to revisit this thing, just hear a couple snippets, give our ideas on how we feel about it, like how many songs were good songs, how many songs were meh songs, and were there any bad songs, and then give it a final grade to see where it stands for the test of time. Because remember, in that interview clip I showed you, Bizzy was like, yeah, Speaking in Tongues was a great album. And his endorsement matters. And I really want to revisit this because I've never met anybody in between. People either love this album and will promote it and say, yeah, this is a great album. And others will say, I only listened to it once and I barely did. There's no middle ground. So just as Alpha and Omega got better with time, will Speaking in Tongues do the same? Let's find out. All right. So track 1 is What You See. So let's see if he comes out swinging or what he comes out with.
Could you tell me what you see? You see, you see, you see. I can read your mind, baby. I can read your mind. Could you tell me where we'll be? I can read your mind, baby. I can read your mind. Most immaculate elegance. Pick up a piece of paper, put your pamper on, scamper on, militant, get your panther on.
All right, right off the bat, I do remember my original thoughts on this. And so one, I thought the chorus was great. It sounds like something that's been there your whole life. You know, you hear that, you're just like, man, have I heard this my whole life? It just feels like it was always there. As far as the verses go, this is the intriguing part about it. I don't particularly want to hear Bizzy rap like this. He raps like this a lot in this era, and even to this day. You know, I'm for Eternal Era Bizzy, much like everybody else. But I'll say this, and this is from experiencing it. If you're somebody that doesn't like hearing Bizzy rap like this, if you see him do it in person, you then understand what's going on here. Because as an Eternal Bone fan, you're like, yo, what's Bizzy doing? Why? But if you see him perform it in your face, like in person, and when I say in person, I don't mean like at a show. I mean, you know, just there. There's a lot of songs that you have to see somebody do it in person to understand it. So like that flow in person is fun. And if you rap his verses, you'll enjoy performing it. So that's how you could understand it. And I'm saying this for those that don't enjoy this. If you yourself do it, you'll then get it. But anyway, where do I rank this? I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10 because it's not a bad song. It's not what you want. It's not what Eternal Era fans want from the verses, but you can't deny the skill. Like he's rapping fine. There's nothing wrong with his raps. There's nothing wrong with the beat, and it's a good chorus. So I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. All right, this next one is called TT Trickery and Treachery.
That is the trickery, treachery. Damn, they treacherous. This is getting biblical, baby. Nobody effing us. Seen a lot of faces, been through so many phases. Give me crystal, baby, man up, yeah. Plot of the mental, methodical mind hunter. A number game, slumber game, sleep if you want a man up from unknown places. When it's simple to be in love, chromosomes broke down, wondering stuff.
I can see how some people that want Eternal Bizzy would be like, what the heck is this? But it's pretty damn cool. You can see what Andre was seeing when hearing this track. It's just straight lyricism. And I respect it. It's not what I want, but I can't knock it. It's not bad. It's pretty cool, actually. Actually, I think I kind of like it. It's just, all right, here's the thing. I like it, but I just don't want to hear it. But I like it. But I can't see myself putting this track on. But it's cool. You can't knock Bizzy for making this track. So I'm going to give this one a 7, just like the previous one. It's not mind-blowing, but it's not bad. It's not bad. All right, now this next one, I hope is beloved by all. I hope this is remembered by all. I hope this is celebrated by all. This one is the Bald-Headed Horseman. I wish there was a music video for this. The only thing I don't like about this track, because I know this one. I've played this one a lot. So this is one, before I even played you the snippet, I've gone back to this one many times. The only thing I don't like is that Bizzy's vocals sound like they're recorded too far away from the mic or like in a hallway or something. There's like a weird effect on it. I want to see if I still hear it the way I remember it.
They can never play me with their mystical readings. It's the ball game, horseman, evil retreating. One stepping up in the party for the ball. Patiently on a mission, I spread love, that's my family petition. Been on a mission, isn't looking out for these enemies. Ain't no pretend to be dawns of the game, they playing centipede. Old school, bring it close and serious now. Original, with the mirror cap, two bow down. And tell the sickness that we coming to get them. And they spotted the set, tripping your CDs. Little brother thinking it, whatever Bibles, evil-minded women. But the chicks never had me shook. They thought they had a good cookie until they hooked up with a cookie crook. Whoa, give them a...
All right, you might have noticed I let that one ride a little bit longer. I love me some Bald-Headed Horseman. Now, to non-rap fans, I can see how they're like, yo, what is this noise you're listening to, man? This dude ain't even on beat. What is this crap? But I liked it because the energy was there, the attitude was there, the confidence was there. Like Bizzy meant it on this track. He's the Bald-Headed Horseman. This was, man. So I'm good with Bald-Headed Horseman. I'm gonna give this one an 8.2 out of 10. Now, keep in mind, like a 10 out of 10 would be, like Way Too Strong or Thugs Cry or Nobody Can Stop Me, like those real epic. It's not a greatest hit. It's not a best of, but it's on one of those lists. This is an unforgettable Bizzy track. All right, this next one is Seeing Things. And if I remember correctly, this one sounds like it was like a Heaven's movie cut. If I remember correctly, also verse 3 was excellent. So let's see if I remember this correctly. I think this one even made it to like one of the best of Bizzy albums or something.
Little confusion, spit the music, quality, which get rich for the trial and now. Pretty big guys, the mouse, realize, digging in the bigger with my niggas in the middle, with my divorce style, the mouse, and then beginning now. And then when they get to the mental, they get a religion, but liquor, religion, we're back from prison, but nobody feeling, but the makers around the globe. In the mission, the money was gold, but he was nutty with money because he was out of the gully with nothing but ugly soul. But we got to trust, no one will touch me, why wasn't it rough enough, done up in lust, but I just grew up, I don't even erupt, you wanna come up, run up, track.
All right, we're going to have to give this one an 8.5 out of 10. Because I think this track, it definitely sounds like a Heaven's Movie era track, which everybody agrees that was a great album. And I don't see anybody not liking this song. I mean, if you don't like this song, you probably just don't like Bizzy Bone. Because to me, this sounds like I said, it's Heaven's Movie Bizzy. It's not Eternal Bizzy. So for me, I want Eternal Bizzy, but there's a lot of Heaven's Movie Gift era Bizzy fans. And so, I know what they want. This is from that era. I'm good with it. So far, this is the standout track. I put this one above Bald-Headed Horseman because I could see how Bald-Headed Horseman's not for everybody. But you can't knock this. This one is vintage. You could literally call this vintage Bizzy. All right, this next one, track 5, BB the Thug. If I remember right, this is a remake of LL Cool J's I Need Love. So let me see how I feel about it now.
See, I was born in the womb, beating down my mom's walls. Now in the 90s, you can find her making a chronic call. Definitely, I need a blunt, I'll fill it up with some bud. He's double 99 for life, ain't none of y'all fucking with us. There were buzz with the thugs, busting and pulling up broken.
All right, well, I grew up on the LL Cool J version of it. I didn't think this one was engineered as good as it could be, but I Need Love by LL is a historic track. Historic, like it's probably in the Hall of Fame of, if there was a rap Hall of Fame of songs, that song was groundbreaking. Bizzy did a cool little rendition of it. I think if nobody heard the LL Cool J song, you might really like the Bizzy version. So I'm going to give it a 7.9. I prefer Bald-Headed Horseman and Seeing Things over BB the Thug, but I know it made I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it made one of those best of Bizzy albums. So I can see that people liked it. Actually, you know what? I want to give it a 7.5 out of 10. 7.5. It's better than tracks 1 and 2, but it's not better than tracks 3 and 4. So it's right in between there. 7.5 out of 10. Okay, next up is Beauty, You Just a Rose.
Rebuke murder from me, lust, wrath, and sloth, greed, gluttony, envy, and the pride of the thought. I'ma tell you, smite that serpent, kamikaze, no curtains, slice through the smoke of the mirrors, imperfect, impervious to danger, fear God, the beginning of wisdom, enter to the kingdom, would you listen? I miss you most definitely, spit knowledge, smell my breath, righteous, watching the wave, never reach that, whoa.
Okay, now this is a shame. That instrumental is excellent. It might be the best instrumental on the album thus far. It builds, it's musical. But Bizzy's vocals, they sound the same. The same problem I had with Bald-Headed Horseman, I have with his vocals here. It sounds like these must have been recorded in the same place. And it just doesn't, it sounds unrehearsed. And that's too bad. Like, it's not that the lyrics are bad, but with an instrumental like this should have been, you know, cookie cutter type verses, because what a well engineered, not engineered, but what a well arranged instrumental. I feel like Bizzy missed, he had a great track, a great concept, and it's just the vocals are too loud, or it's just not refined. It sounded like this needed to be rehearsed a little bit more. But I'm still going to give this a 7.5, because if this was done right, this would have been a phenomenal song. Okay, next we have Carry My Baby. Let's see Carry My Baby. Let's see what we got here.
So hot up in the kitchen, let us break for the luncheon. Destiny praise God, we brought yourself the cruncher. Crack the devil's head, crack the devil's head. While out pandemonium, crack the devil's head. While out pandemonium, the fish around with suspicion. It's like I'm on a pony. Okay,
well, this one's my least favorite thus far. I'm giving it a 6 out of 10. It's kind of noisy, trebly. It's an album track. If you ever wondered what a average Bizzy album track would sound like, I think this track, Carry My Baby, right there, exemplifies it. It's kind of a throwaway track. It reminds me of something I heard on Alpha and Omega. I think it might be Everywhere I Go. I don't know. It's got some flair to it, but I could listen to it, but I wouldn't put it on myself. If it's in the background, I could live with it. All right, this next one, Hold Me Down. I think this one is the flagship track of the album. Let's see. Hold up. Hold Me Down. Can't hold me down. Hold me down. We ain't fucking. I think it's that track. Let's see. Bro, do we got a hit here? Is this? I think Hold Me Down might be the best one. This might be better than Seeing Things. I'm gonna give this one I want to give it a 9, but I'm gonna give it an 8.7. Actually, we're gonna give it an 8.8 to make up to tie out that 4.2 from earlier. So this is an 8.8. It's not quite a 9. It's not a 10, but man, this is a good Bizzy track. I mean, I don't know if it's because everything else in comparison, but this sounds like old Bizzy. When I say old Bizzy, you know, Heaven's Movie style Bizzy. So I would think any Bizzy fan would be happy with Hold Me Down. So we're ranking this one the highest ranking thus far on the album. Wait, pump the brakes. We're only giving it an 8. Bizzy doesn't rap all the verses. There's another rapper on it. So we're going to deduct. It's going to be just an 8. If Bizzy did all verses, it would be an 8.8, but because of that, it's just an 8. Okay, next up, we have He Told Me. So let's see what we got. He Told Me. I don't remember this at all.
You give us strength to do not a party, but we living like children steady in school. I refuse to dip deep inside of the mystery to know that it's you. How many people are true? Never could stress me out. Paying attention to who? Mention the representation and plus dedication. I'm lacing up the boots. Happily out of the wondering now. Massage your thought. Never could be my.
All right, so this one's an album track. It's not bad. It's just not good. You might say, well, what's the difference between this and Bald-Headed Horseman? And I would just say the attitude, the energy. It's similar, but it's just an album track. It's almost like why. It feels like it should have been a cut. It's not a bad track. It's just like why. So now for the lyricist fans out there, I could see how Andre might be sitting out there saying, Lippy, what are you talking about, bro? This is one of the best tracks on the album. It's not for me. It's not for me. And if it's for you, I'm curious. To me, this is not what I'm looking for. It's not bad. Bizzy's not a bad rapper. It's just, yeah. So this is a meh. This is a meh track. It's not, this is garbage. It's just meh. I think this is the song where he says something about Large Marge. I see soldiers taking charge, Marge. So this is the least best track on the album. The vocals and the instrumental just has these, the instrumental is just a loud, noisy, it's not a range. The vocals, I don't know. It's just not engineered well. I think that's the problem with it. And it sounds like Bizzy didn't really rehearse it. It sounded like he was just kind of reading the lyrics off it. It's not bad. It's just not good. It's meh. All right. This next track is Represent the One. Let's see what we got here.
Under surveillance am I paranoid? Never I, never me, ducking the enemy off in evil territory. So why they coming up the bus for me? I got my homie out of the way, I think my lady got a crush on me. Somebody put the finger hush on me. Never put a plug in me, I'ma shake that dust off me. They got some mush on me, that was just that lust on me. But if you're loving me, it's just a plus on me. I'm telling them only God judges me, Jesus Christ the Savior. Bow down to the Lord, blow the trumpet on the major. Me don't need no cell phone, me don't need no pager. But we got some rules we gotta follow in the course of danger.
All right, well, this one sounds like vocally like Bald-Headed Horseman, and you might say, well, okay, so how do you feel about it? And I give it a 7 out of 10. I like, the chord, Represent the One. Feels like we heard that before. But I think if you saw Bizzy perform this in person, you'd enjoy it. Like, this would have benefited, not with a music video, but just with some kind of live performance so you could see what his vocals meant. I think he meant this one. Like this wasn't a filler track. I think this had a purpose behind it. That's just not executed to my taste. Maybe it's the engineering of it. But it's not bad. It's not great. It's a 7 of 10. All right. So this next track, Less Fame. Less Fame. I'll be curious to see what this one is if I remember this one.
Pressure in the stress game. Less fame, it's a blessing, wasn't buddy, I'm arresting. Much pressure in the stress game. Less fame, it's a blessing, wasn't buddy, I'm arresting.
And I can see that you don't want me to love. And I'm damn sure that you don't want me to thug. And I'm damn sure that you don't want me to judge. And I'm damn sure that you don't want me. You better believe that time is ticking. I can't hold no grudge, you can't haunt me. Call up, I play your ass partner while I'm sipping on wine. Only to soothe my little spirits, I think God can hear me crying.
I like this track. It's kind of sounding a little bit like Eminem. It's playful. I like that. It's got its own charm to it. It's got a classic rock loop. The chorus is, what does the chorus remind me of? Less Fame. It reminds me of some other rapper out there, other rap group out there. So I like that he's using a little funny voice on it. I'm good with this. So what I'm going to do with this one is I'm giving it a 7.8 to round out that 8.2. Because this is way above a 7. It's not quite an 8. So I'm going to give it a 7.8. Less Fame. In fact, see, now this is a track that I might want to revisit and listen to a lot because the way it's composed is intriguing. For a lyricism, actually, I'm not so much a lyricist fan. I'm a verse composition fan, and that's why I love Crazy Bone so much, is for his verse structure. And why as good as Lazy is, he has a fairly predictable verse structure, but Crazy and Bizzy have more intricate verse structures. And that's what I like. So like with Tech Nine, it's not that I like Tech Nine's lyrics. I like how Tech Nine structures his verses. And I liked what Bizzy was doing with this one. So Less Fame, 7.8. It's got its own charm, classic rock loop. He's got a little funny voice. Bizzy's doing his thing on this one, and he doesn't care what you think. So when people do what they want to do, I like it. Oh boy. Oh boy. This is definitely the moment you've all been waiting for. I would say 9 out of 10 of you clicked on this link just to get to this moment. And you know what that moment is. Shake that stick. So let's hear a little bit of Shake That Stick, the legendary song from this album.
Shake that stick. When the faggots try to lust your body, shake that stick, stick.
It's my boy right there. Yeah.
Shake that stick. When the faggots try to lust your body, surprise, it's really a bitch. I was raised by my poppy though, poppy though. Shake your stick. In the strip club, looking for a humble young thing with a really cash money motherfucker, get a quick thug. Fellas all around me, don't sit too close to the door. They getting naked in this motherfucker, y'all keep calm. Got no time to be rolling with dudes, nothing but attitude. Gotta give me latitude.
So, bro, I think this is one of the best songs in Bizzy's entire collection. It's the most famous song on the album. People have been talking about this track for over 15 years, and it's a good song. And Bizzy was really feeling this joint. Let's have fun. Let's have fun on the track, bro. He's having fun on the track. You know, people hate on this track, but it's brilliant. This song is brilliant. It is brilliant, and I think if you're not understand, actually maybe I'm getting it wrong, but I think when he says shake that stick, he's talking about a crucifix, right? So once you get that lens, because I think a lot of people think he means something else, but if he means like a crucifix, right? Shake that stick. For the people that are trying to lust your body, this shit is brilliant. This is a genius track. This should actually, it's a shame that this didn't make it out of the Bone world. I think it's brilliant. I think Shake That Stick is brilliant. I think people that have not enjoyed this for whatever reasons they had, they're missing out on. This is a joint, man. This is a vibe. Bizzy's riding this thing. He obviously made this with intent. So I know people hate on this one. I know a lot of people, they don't hate on it. They make fun of it. They mock it. I don't think they've thought it through. I think it's genius. I'm giving this an 8.5 out of 10. This is a standout track. People have been talking about this forever. This reminds me of like late 80s, like 80s and 90s, early 90s rap. This is just storytelling, man. This is a good track. I like it. I dig it. 8.5. This is one of the standout flagship tracks of this album. Hate me now. Come at me, bro. All right. I know you're probably like, yo, you just lost all credibility there, Lippy. No, I don't know if I had any credibility to begin with. I love novelty, man. If you guys don't know, I'm going to be making a video about novelty rap. I've always been a fan of novelty rap. That Shake That Stick is novelty. But this brings us to the final track on the album, track 13, All Good. I don't remember what this is. Let me see what it sounds like, and I'll let you know.
How can I make the spirits understand that I am just not to be tested by the outer man and everything that we can't comprehend? It's not a mystery to God. Drink champagne, Moet Chandon. Baby girl, say the nectar is imperial. Watching the tubes, throw up the one, please don't get it confused. Slur the speech, love or follow the rules. Humble the tools, shake your stick. These player haters don't know shit. What do you do when the homeboys try to play you? Get some new homeboys or just ride.
All right, well, it's a vibe track, easy listening, poorly engineered. Reminds me of like a Tupac song. It's got some of the talking at the beginning. It sounds all unrehearsed. Second verse sounds like he just didn't rehearse it. It sounds like he was going through it. It sounds like someone else wrote it maybe. Maybe somebody wrote it and handed it to him on paper. I don't know. Or maybe he wrote it and he might have been rapping it for the first time. Maybe it was just in his book and he was like, yo, I got one more. Let me just do this one off. So it just sounds unrehearsed. It sounds like he's reading it. It's uninspired, but it's chilling, but it's not recorded that way. Maybe it's this crappy upload to YouTube that sounds pretty bad. It's like a lot of these just don't sound like they're blended well, engineered well. And perhaps it's the rip that I'm getting on YouTube. But I'm not really feeling this one too much. It's not bad. It's not great. It's just, it's a 7. I'm giving it a 7. I want to give it a 6.5. I'm giving this one a 6.5. All right, so that was my revisitation of Speaking in Tongues. Added all together, it was 95. It had a 95 out of a total of 130. So there was 130 tracks. I mean, there was 13 songs. The most they could get is 10. So 13 times 10 is 130. And out of that, it achieved 95 points, which if you do the average, 95 divided by 130 is 73. So this album's a C. It's not a D, it's not an F, it's just a C. It's which means it's average, right? It's not a stellar album, but it's not a bad album. It's average. And we had a couple of standout tracks. So the standout tracks were tracks 3. Track 3 was Bald-Headed Horseman. Track 4, Seeing Things. Track 8, Hold Me Down. And Shake Your Stick. So 4 out of 13 were real standouts. And then you had, tracks like track 11, Less Fame, which was cute and enjoyable. And so there was only, okay, let's see, the real bad ones were, 1, 2, 3. So there was 3 that were either rated 6 or less. So you still got 4 good tracks, 3 meh tracks, and then the rest are average. They're passable songs. So I think this revisitate, in a way, you're almost like, so is it worse to have an average album than a bad album? Because at least the bad album, you're just not touching it. Whereas an average album, like Speaking in Tongues, it's like, what do you do there? But I think it holds its own. I think, if anything, well, you know what it seems like? It seems like the good tracks were taken from this and put on the best of Bizzy Bone anyway. But I think Speaking in Tongues holds its place for a period of time that I missed out on. It was the first Bizzy album that strayed away from the original formula. Alpha and Omega began it. You could see that something was changing in Bizzy's style in Alpha and Omega, but there was still I Understand on it, and there was still elements of the original Bizzy. I think with Speaking in Tongues, you started to see like, all right, the style is definitely different now. The engineering is definitely different now. Although you do have those couple tracks that do sound like Heaven Movies cuts. But then at the same time, evaluating this, you're like, so all these tracks aren't even from the same period of time. Some are from Heaven's Movie potentially. But simultaneously, songs like Bald-Headed Horseman definitely sound like it's a Speaking in Tongues. Like when I think of Speaking in Tongues, I think of Bald-Headed Horseman and I think of Shake That Stick. Like to me, those are the songs that embody this album. Seeing Things and Hold Me Down. Actually, Hold Me Down. No, when I think of Speaking in Tongues, I do think of Hold Me Down. Because the reason being was all those ads, the webisodes that were promoting Speaking in Tongues, all used Hold Me Down as like the flagship song of the album. So, hey, it's an average album. It's not bad. You can't say Speaking in Tongues is bad. There's good tracks on it. And here's the funny thing. Some people are going to say, what do you mean you can't say it's bad? Dude, this is one of Bizzy's best albums. And other people are going to say, like, no, it's definitely bad. This is not Heaven's Movie Bizzy. Whatever. Everybody's going to have varying opinions. I want to hear your opinions. Did you agree with my ratings? When you use your own rating system out of 130, what did Bizzy get? I had him ranked at 95 out of 130. Let me know how you're scoring it. It's almost like a boxing match. So I got him at 95 out of 130. What's your score? Did you really disagree with any of my ratings on this? How do you feel about Shake Your Stick? What was your favorite track on the album? And you know what? To do it like the way Cecil and Matt and I used to do with, so what's the best song on the album? What's the worst song on the album? What's your favorite song on the album? And what was the most important song on the album? So to me, and I'm just doing this off the cuff right now, but I think the best song on the album, I'm going to have to go with Seeing Things. If Bizzy did the whole Hold Me Down song, I would have had that as the best. But I'd say if I had to sell this to somebody, I'd play Seeing Things just because of the Heavens movie style to it. Worst song on the album is that one that I ranked 5.5, track 9, and that was He Told Me. So I got that one. It's not bad, it's just not good. Favorite song on the album? There's a couple, man. I'm going to go with Shake That Stick. I want to say, but I do want to say Bald-Headed Horseman. But I think, yeah, no. My favorite's going to be Bald-Headed Horseman. I'm going with Bald-Headed Horseman as my favorite. And the most important track on the album, I would say, is Hold Me Down because, no, fuck that. The most important song on the album is Shake That Stick. because that's the one that everybody's talked about forever. You know, as much as I say Hold Me Down was the flagship for all the commercials, Shake That Stick is the one that's stood the test of time. It's the reason people probably still pop this thing in just a wonder. So that's that. Best, Seeing Things. Worst, He Told Me. Favorite, Bald-Headed Horseman. And most important, Shake That Stick. And we'll give the runner-up or the special, the honorable mention to Hold Me Down. But that's John Lippy's revisitation of Speaking in Tongues by Bizzy Bone, an album that came out when I was working 17-hour days, exhausted out of my mind, losing weight left and right because I was just malnourished and overworked. But I made it out of there, made a better life for myself, and I'm doing good now. And here we are. What do you think of these Beyond the Harmony revisitation reviews? Do you guys want to see more of these? If you made it this far, definitely drop some comments. I want to hear from you guys because Speaking in Tongues should be something that we've talked about. I don't see it talked about that much. On behalf of Cecil West, Matt Weaver, RC Thugster, and Jordan Corey, I am Jonathan Lippy. You've been listening to Beyond the Harmony, and we'll catch you next time.
Beyond the harmony for the fans, we celebrate. Uploading the videos every Thursday, so join us.